Hey guys, welcome back to another video here today. Another devlog of the unnamed FPS shooter that I'm working on. My new devlog series. This is my devlog number 2. So if you haven't watched the first one, I'll link it up in the video, or it's also going to be in the description as well. But yeah, I'll be continuing working on this next devlog. I hope you guys are doing great and doing wonderful on this day. And yeah. So let's get started, shall we? So a little recap of what happened in the last devlog. I ended up creating the project, bringing in the character, the third-person character, importing the animation starter pack that has all the animations that I want to use, and importing all of the weapons that I'll be using. So the FPS starter bundle and the other one, the military bundle one, that has the pistol. And yeah, so after importing all of that, I updated the animations for the character because I want the upper body of the character to be static. The reason for that is because I'm planning to do procedural animations for these when it comes to the future, when the player is equipped with the weapon. So it will do like procedurally have a weapon sway, weapon recoil, turning sway, all this kind of sways, right? And I don't want the animation to actually mess that up for me, so I made them to be static. And I've also implemented the interactables that I'll be having in this game, such as like this interactables. It's basically just the pickups, right? So if I look at one of the pickups, I'll be able to interact with it. So such as like one of the weapons, if I look at one at the weapon, I'll be able to interact with it, and if I do, I'll be able to equip it, and I'll be able to have the character hold the weapon. And that's basically what I did in the last devlog. So let's get started for what we want to do here. So right now we have this, right? I'll be able to come up with the weapon and be able to interact with it and be able to equip it. So, but that's all it does. But there's nothing fun about that, right? Nothing fun about this. So we want to be able to have this weapon fire. And be able to add the functionality for this. So let's get started, shall we? There's different ways that we can do this depending on the game, right? So one way is that be able to have a weapon. I'm creating paint here. I apologize for super white. Maybe this is a little bit better because I'll be drawing white. So we have the weapon. Apologize for the terrible weapon here, right? I apologize for that. So this is different ways, right? First of all, you need a socket that you can be having in front of the weapon, in front of the muzzle, like a muzzle socket where we want the starting point where the bullet should be at. Different ways we can do this. You can initially instantiate or spawn a projectile in this direction, this position, and be able to fire it in this direction, right? So you can actually show an actual projectile. There's another ways you could do is to be able to fire, instead of creating the actual projectile, you shoot a raycast. Initially, how games do it nowadays is be able to shoot a raycast when the camera all the way forward to a certain range, depending on the projectile. The projectile should have a range of how far it should go, and that'll be, you start here, and depending how far the projectile is, let's say 600 meters, right? Theoretically, for this example. So this raycast could be 600 meters, and if it hits something, then let's say it hits a wall. Let's draw a wall and hit this area here. So that means it hit in this area here, and you can create some type of like decal on the wall that will have a bullet hole on it, and be able to have some particle effects. If this is like a stone wall, it creates like a stone particle effect coming out in that direction, and all this kind of stuff. So like, you don't really need to draw a projectile at all, or anything at all. You can. I think I will go in this direction for now, or have the ability to also actually spawn a projectile as well if I wanted to be able to shoot something out of it. So what would we need? We definitely need a socket, and I'm gonna use this muzzle socket as well to be able to spawn like maybe a muzzle flash that's gonna be shooting in front of the muzzle, so you could have a muzzle flash for this weapon if it needs to. And yeah, that's basically the premise of this. So be able to have the sockets creates, you will be able to use this point to be able to spawn a muzzle flash, and if it hits something, to also have some particle effects that come out of it, or if it's actual person that you actually end up hitting, you can have some decals out of it as well, like a flesh, blood, and all that kind of blood decals that you can have. So what we'd like to do here is be able to add a socket for this weapon. So for example, we can use let's use this weapon. I added this on off screen, this like super simple weapon here. So if we went to the actual mesh, skeletal mesh, well, we'd like to add a socket, right? So once you add the socket in here, you'll have this socket here right in front of the muzzle, and this is what I'm gonna be using in order to be able to fire a projectile or a ray cast in this direction. I created a data structure that could be used for this weapon. So for every weapon that we have here, it's going to have a data structure to be able to handle like the muzzle flash and the particle effects that I'll be wanting to spawn in this direction here. So we have the data structure, right? So we have a muzzle flash. So if you wanted a muzzle flash, we'll create this. It is, for right now, I'm creating this muzzle flash for this weapon right here. Hit effects that we can be using, determining on what I'm hitting. So if I hit a metal, it will have like a metal particle effect. And if what I hit, the actor, it has a tag of metal, it will actually use this option here. Otherwise, if it has a tag of body, it will use the wood. And if it's a stone, I guess I put none for the default option. So anything that's none, that will be the default option if there doesn't hit anything, and it will use the stone particle effect for that. And the same thing for the blood decal. If you actually hit an actor that's actual like a person or NPC kind of thing, or an actual creature or whatever, we use this blood decal thing. So if it has a tag of flesh red, I will use this blood decal here of red blood decal. But you could also, maybe in the future, you could have a green because that creature has green blood, or else kind of shenanigans. So you have the variation to be able to use here. And then the reload montage. So when it reloads, might as well have that functionality added here, since I'm planning to do that in this video. So might as well have that in here and have it handy already. Cool. So I created that. I added a functionality to be able to fire and be able to create this ray cast that we can use, right? So after creating that functionality, let's get in the game. Let's test it out real quick. So cool. So we got this, and once I press fire, bam. Let's get a little closer. You can see the ray cast also hitting it too. So it creates that particle effect that I mentioned, creates the muzzle flash, and if it doesn't hit anything, it doesn't hit anything, right? And I made this be metal, so you could be able to test the different types of particle effects that shoots off. So it will shoot. If you shoot the floor, it will do the stone particle effect. Or if it hits this is the metal. And then eventually, when I have another NPC here or an actual player character here in the future, I can shoot at it and be able to see the blood decal. But I have no testing functionality for that. Actually, I technically I can. I just need to set the tag for that. But yeah, but that's what I have right now. So cool. So we can fire, and yeah, it only has 30 bullets, so that's basically all it's gonna do. But cool, we're able to fire things now. The other thing that I would like to do here, as you know, you start off with no weapon, right? And be able to pick it up, but I also want to be able to drop it in case I want to drop it and I want to run faster or something in that regards. I don't have that ability to have that. So right now that you run the same way, but in the future, once I have some, variation. So maybe you're holding a super heavy weapon like an LMG, you'll be running a little bit slower, and maybe you have to drop it to run faster for some certain scenarios and all that. But I want to be able to drop this weapon if I want to go back to being unarmed, or maybe when I add the secondary weapon, you'll be able to swap to that secondary weapon. So after adding the input, I think for now I will be using the X to be able to drop the weapon. So the idea here is if I bring my uh let's see if we can draw it down here, right? So we have this weapon. We got this character here that's actually holding, the weapon here. The idea here, if the player presses X to drop it, right? What we want to do is, as of right now, this may change later down the line, once I go into optimizations and all that kind of stuff. But as of right now, this is what I'm gonna be doing, is to destroy this weapon, spawn an actual pickup that's going to be placed into the world like how we have it like before, and that's basically about it. So be able to destroy the current mesh that I have for the character and be able to use that to drop it into the world, and be able to, and before I actually destroy it, be able to use the stats or the information that this weapon has to be able to spawn this weapon, because you gotta know which weapon you want to spawn, right? You don't want to spawn like a random one where you're dropping a pistol but it spawns an LMG as a pickup. You don't want to do that. So be able to use the weapon data that comes from this weapon to be able to know what I need to spawn. So that is the plan. And after implementing that, we can test it out, check it out right now. So this is an M4, and be able to fire, shoot, and all that. And if I press X, it drops it, and there you go. This is a pickup again, once again. I think one thing that I would like to change here is right now it spawns it right on top of my body, but it would be great, maybe it'd be a cool thing to add is like to be able to drop it in front of you instead of right on top on top of you. So in front will probably something that I will need to add. But yeah, I think that's a pretty good thing. You can pick it up, drop it, pick it up, shoot once a little bit more, and be able to drop that bad boy. So cool. So now I'll be able to pick up weapons, be able to fire it, be able to drop it, and then be able to reload. So for the reload, it is not too crazy when it comes to reload, right? So basically you have a person have it with the weapon. This has a maximum of 30 bullets I can have, but now I have like 15, right? If I press the button to reload, like the R for now, I'm gonna press the R. I think usually that's what most games are. If you press the R, it reloads. So it would check to see if I'm able to reload, right? Because what if, let's forget about this. Let's say my mag is full, I'm at 30, right? If I press R, there's no reason to actually reload because you're already at full. That's kind of wasted, right? But if I shoot a couple times and I'm at 20, right? If I reload, it will check for that and be like, okay, yeah, I can reload. I have 30 bullets still left in this mag, extra mag in my next mag. So it will reload, it will go to 30, and it will change the other one to 20 because that's how many bullets I have left. So that's the basic premise. If I have 0 here, but then I also have no more bullets, or even if it's 10, right? I have my current mag is 10, but I don't have no more. You basically cannot reload anymore because you don't have extra bullets. So after being able to add all of these checks and all that, so after this has been implemented into the game, and I have that handy montage that I added earlier, already handy. I'm able to test that out right now. So when it comes to here, I shoot a couple times and then be able to reload. As of right now, it's not that fancy yet. Right now it just plays the animation. But I think in the future, not I think, but I'm planning to add this in the future where it will be more uh, visual appealing as well, right? Where he actually, the left hand actually grabs the magazine and be able to take it out of the weapon and bring another magazine, pop it into the weapon. But it doesn't do that yet, but that's the plan in the future to be able to do that. That would be a pretty sweet thing to have. But yeah, so now I'm able to reload and be able to do all this kind of stuff. But one thing I have not done here, handle weapon swapping. So after coming in here, I have dropped the other weapons as well. The other ARs, SMG, and the pistol. So the main idea here that I would like to do, let's go back to my handy paint job over here. Paint. So so you have the character again up here, right? And he's already holding a weapon, but then comes in and then you have another weapon down here, right? And he looks at it and it's like, oh, this weapon looks pretty cool and awesome. I want to get that weapon. There's two different options you can do here. He can drop the weapon like we added earlier and then be able to pick it up. That's one option, right? Or I can add a like quality or life feature in here, and if I pick up this weapon here, I can destroy this weapon like I did before. It handles the way how you drop a weapon into the world, so it destroys this and spawns that pickup like we mentioned earlier. Or was it in here, right? And then picks up that weapon, so I don't have to create any additional code here or anything for this functionality. And now after I call that function to drop this weapon, I can then pick up this weapon. So after being able to do that, we can test it out real quick and be able to see how exactly this is gonna work. So let's, I pick up this F4, and like I mentioned before, we can drop this and be like, okay, I want to pick up this weapon instead, and that works too, right? Or you can just pick up this weapon and it drops the other one that we mentioned earlier. So cool. So be able to pick up this SMG and drops this. So how I want this game to be handled is the SMGs are also considered primary weapons. The only thing that are considered secondary weapons are handguns, maybe some melee weapons like knife, and I don't remember what other options I have right now. But that's the idea here right now. So cool. So there we go. We added that functionality into the game and be able to pick up other weapons as well. So the other one that I would like to add is be able to have the secondary weapon in here. And as mentioned before, oops, that's not what I wanted to do just yet. Okay, so we have this weapon. You got, in this scenario, we have two primary weapons, right? And this will swap, drop this, destroy this weapon, drop it, and then pick up the other primary weapon. But what if this other one here is an actual pistol? I know it looks like a pistol. Let's pretend this is an AR, right? This is a pistol that we have here. So what the plan here that we want to do is that if we have a primary weapon and then I'd be able to pick up this weapon here, we don't want to destroy this and drop and pick and create another pickup. We don't want that to happen. So what we want to do is be able to holster this weapon to the character. So as most games now, it kind of does it. The AR is in the back of the player, right, or the character, and then so you holster that weapon and then be able to pick up this weapon. So that's what we want to do. And the way that you want to be able to do this in here is to be able to, if we came here to we have basically, we create points in the character. There's different ways we could have done, actually go to the skeleton and be able to add that in there, or I created some root actor or scene components here that where we can attach it to. So for primary weapons, it's going to be in the back, and for secondary, it's going to be down here, down below. So now that I have that added in here to the character, we can use those slots to be able to handle this scenario where he holsters the weapon in the back of the player using the primary scene component root, and then be able to equip this. And then now that I have two weapons now, right? So let's work this back a little bit. So now this character has this huge weapon in the back end of the character, and now we have a pistol, right? So cool. And be able to not to be able to handle this is to be also handle the ability to be able to swap between these two, right? Swap between the primary and secondary weapons. All right, so now that it's implemented, we can test this out. So we create a primary weapon, right? Cool, sweet. And if we pick up a secondary weapon, we now have this. And you can see in the shadows that the secondary weapon, primary weapon is on the back of the character, but we can also test it out and double check that this is actually true. So if we go to the follow camera, go back a little bit, and then be able to now see like, hey, cool. So now we have a weapon, be able to fire the pistol, and then be able to change weapons. So you can see that the pistol is now equipped on the side, on the leg, on the thigh, and you can see the weapon, the primary weapon, being equipped now. And then we can change it again and be able to do that. In the future, most likely I'll be adding animations for that, so it will look like the player actually put the primary weapon on the back and then swap over to the new weapon. So that's something cool, and cool thing to have in the future. But cool, guys. We have done a lot of I've done a lot of stuff here. The last thing that I would like to add here is be able to add the UI for this as of right now, because it doesn't tell you exactly like how many bullets I have and if I'm able to reload and all that. Creating the widget, I'm gonna call it, this is going to be the player HUD. It's going to show the icon of the weapon that you can be holding, the current ammo that you have, and the magazine, how much more ammo you have for this weapon. At least that's going to be the plan here. So the current mag that I have, and then the left, how much more ammo I have left over, right? So this will be added to the player and the HUD, and I'll be adding that functionality now. Cool. So after that is implemented, we add the HUD that will be attached to the player controller. We currently added to the character. It gets added to the viewport and all that, and the character is actually going to be the one handling this HUD to be able to easily handle which weapon I'll be showing and the ammo and all that, since all the functionalities are created in the player, in the character. So once we run it, we go into the game, we can now see like, ooh, so we have 30 bullets on this gun. There's no extra ammo that we have, and you can see that this is working. So if we came here, we can now see we got 7 bullets on this pistol, but as you can see, it retains this ammo, so it doesn't change back to 30 again. So now there's no more shots in here anymore, and then we shoot, and now no more bullets. Cool. So now we're able to see how much ammo we have, so that's pretty great, and be able to see that, so you're not trying to guess what's exactly happening. But cool, guys, we've done majority of the stuff that I wanted to do here. We had a weapon fire, be able to drop the weapons, be able to reload, weapon swapping, be able to pick up another weapon, pick up a primary and a secondary weapon, be able to holster the other weapon when I'm changing weapons in here, and be able to show the UI for it. Cool. So there's still a lot more stuff that we like to do. There's definitely like more pickups that we got to do, like maybe more ammo. So once if we look at the floor, be able to pick up more ammo for this weapon, then be able to reload. So we will create another base pickup for ammos as well, to be able to pick up those ammos as well, because there's gonna be different types of ammunitions, right? At least that's the plan. Let's not make it all universal, which is gonna be kind of lame, but yeah. So for the next video, we can talk about aiming, because right now you don't aim, you're shooting from the hip fire, right? You hip firing and all that. I want to be able to aim, so if I right click, you aim, be able to do all the procedural animations that we've been talking about. If I believe that's probably how I'm gonna have to separate it, but as of right now, I'm planning to also add weapon attachments in that video in the next blog, but I may have to push it up to the next video because it might be too much, because already I keep trying to aim for 10 minutes for each video, and it's crazy how much more time it goes by after each one. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like always, this is like a really high level of the implementation for this game. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you want to go more deeper into this implementation and how I've implemented, feedback, and if you have any questions and feedback are always welcome. So feel free to comment down below. Yeah, if this video reaches 500 likes, definitely gonna be creating a more deeper Devlog, going to how I've implemented these and be able to see how this is implemented in the back end, right? The majority of what is being done here is in the C++ side. I do blueprints as well, so depending on the situation. But yeah, feel free to let me know if you guys want me to go more deeper and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing great. Have a great day. Have a wonderful night, depending on your time. And we'll continue in the next video. I hope you guys have a great day. And I'll see you guys next time. Signing out.